Now the Rave New Year is very different because it is not based on a time zone. The Rave New Year is astronomically defined, and in our language it is the moment when the sun enters gate 41, first line, first color, first tone, and first base. So like the first millisecond, the sun has entered gate 41. Now this given moment is the same for everybody. That the position of a planet is not dependent from your position on the planet Earth. It is an objective. And therefore, the body graph of the Rave New Year is the same for everybody, for all countries, for all people, and so on. In that sense, it shows the deeper program. And that also means, of course, we always have in the Rave New Year the profile 1-3, and in that case, what is called the cross of the unexpected. And the 41, that is the gate of evolution. It is the gate of evolution. It belongs to the sensing circuit, this only circuit that is purely and exclusively human. So it makes sense. Literally here we can say it makes sense. So therefore the Rave New Year shows the objective program of human evolution, independently from the question if human consciousness is able to grasp that. So in that sense it has, even if you look at the conscious side of that, it has this taste of an underlying, more objective quality, but it does not tell us how much the collective or a specific individual will be or can be aware of that. So that was what we had. Now this is the body graph of the Rave New Year. So obviously, I mean, just going back for one moment, just look at the pictures, not the details. Look at the picture. So obviously that's very different. It's not always like that. Sometimes the Monday New Year body graph and the Rave New Year body graph have a lot of similarities. And of course there are gates repeating, Pluto in 60, for example, or Neptune in 36, or Uranus in 2. But looking at the body graph, looking at the definitions, we see a pretty different picture. The only consistency, as you can see, is the 6124. So also the program says we have the necessity of differentiation, mental differentiation. They are, the humans, they are now under the pressure to find some new answers, which normally is a clear indication that the old ones didn't work. Now, I would say, very similar to the COVID years, when we had the one answer that didn't work. So now we also had the one answer that didn't work, the sanctions and the sanctions and the sanctions and the sanctions and the 8s and the 9s, So always the same question, always the same answer, nothing is changing. So at some point, that creates an additional pressure. Doesn't mean that there will be really new answers, but the pressure will be there. Apart from that, you can see that is very emotional. And the topics of these emotional fields are very interesting. You will see part of them appearing already in the first quarter. So we have the 1949. So this is our channel of the synthesis. It is a mystical channel. It is principally the ability to feel who needs what in the tribe. But if we translate it from a personal to a collective level, to a programmatical level, let's say, then, of course, it has a lot to do with simple but very important questions. Who is getting what? and who is giving what. So what is distributed and who is going to pay for that? Not that this is a big topic that we also could see in 2022, right? I mean, this is an ongoing discussion. And the moon in that case is in the 19. So what do we have? The topic is we have the pressure of needs. People have the pressure of needs. There are already, I mean, in very developed countries like the UK, I mean, there are millions of people. They cannot afford to have their daily meal anymore. I mean, we are talking about really pressure now. We are not talking about the need to have the latest iPhone. We are talking about real pressure. And this real pressure demands some balance. It is pressurizing for some balance. I mean, I do not want to sound like a good old Marxist, but that there are people that have, I do not know, 150 billions or 180 billions, and millions and millions and millions of people cannot afford to have one meal a day. Is this still balanced? Can this still maintain a glue in the tribe? Of course not.